A galactic patrol ship drifted silently through the cold darkness of space when an old, damaged escape pod appeared on their radar. It was floating near the ruins of Sector 9, a dead zone. No one lived there.
Oh.
No signals ever came from there. The crew pulled the pod inside, expecting to find a body. But when the doors hissed open, they found a woman alive, barely breathing, covered in blood, eyes wide with fear. She gasped for air and clutched the nearest officer's hand with shaking. "Fingers, never go to Earth," she whispered. "Don't make the same mistake." Then she passed out. The woman's name was Kara. She was a xenobiologist, part of a peaceful science crew that had gone to Earth to study ancient human ruins. Earth had been empty for over 500 years. Abandoned. Quiet. A perfect place for research. Or so they thought. Now she was the only one left. The Galactic Council was confused. Earth had long been listed as harmless, no signs of life, no threats. What had scared her so badly? Some said she had lost her mind. Others believed she was hiding something. Still, protocol demanded answers. She was placed in medical isolation. But even as machines healed her body, her mind stayed trapped in fear. She woke screaming at night, shouting in languages she didn't speak. The guards grew uneasy. Her blood work showed strange results, traces of unknown proteins, memory fluctuations, signs of deep psychological damage, yet nothing clear. Number. Virus. No parasite. Just fear. Commander Hale, leader of the station, watched the security footage from the pod. The recording was damaged, but one thing was clear. Kara was running. Her breathing was wild. She kept looking over her shoulder. And in one short frame, just before the recording cut off, a blurry shape appeared behind her, too tall, too fast. No readable form. The tech team tried enhancing the image, but the system glitched each time. It was almost like the footage didn't want to be seen. Still, the council did not believe in ghosts. They decided to send a team to Earth, a recovery unit. 5 trained soldiers, specialists in alien worlds and unknown threats. "We need answers," said one of the council members. "We won't act based on the fear of one broken survivor." Kara heard them. She slammed her fists against the glass of her isolation chamber. "Don't go," she begged. "You don't understand. It watches, it remembers." But no one listened. The recovery ship left within the hour. As it entered Earth's orbit, the ship sent one final message before landing. Then silence. No updates. No tracking. Nothing. Just static. Back on the station, Kara sat alone in her cold cell, her eyes locked. On the stars outside, she didn't blink. She didn't move. A whisper escaped her lips, once again, so quiet the audio logs barely caught it. "They're not coming back." And somewhere, far below the silence of space, on the dead blue surface of Earth, something opened its eyes. The recovery team's ship descended through Earth's thick, silent clouds. The planet looked calm to calm. Forests stretched endlessly, untouched by time. Ancient cities stood still, their glass towers covered in vines, their roads cracked and empty. No animals, no birds, no wind. The ship landed in the middle of what used to be New Washington. The team stepped out, their boots pressing into soft moss that had swallowed the streets. The air was clean, but cold. It's too cold for a planet with no weather systems. Commander Juno, leader of the squad, looked around with a frown. "This place feels... wrong," he said. But the others laughed. "Scared of ghosts, sir?" Their mission was simple. Search for signs of Kara's crew, retrieve any data they left behind, and confirm whether Earth was still safe for limited research. But the further they walked, the more they realized Earth wasn't abandoned. It was hiding. Buildings stood perfectly preserved as if frozen midlife. A cup of coffee still sat on a restaurant table, untouched. Children's toys lay scattered in a schoolyard. There was no sign of decay. Yet no power ran through the wires. No systems worked. Time had stopped, but nothing had fallen apart. Corporal Lyra ran her scanner across a wall. Stone, metal, glass, all still solid. "This place should be rubble," Sergeant Keem found. A terminal with working power only. It wasn't connected to anything. It lit up as he touched it. A message appeared on the screen in Galactic Standard. You shouldn't be here. They assumed it was a prank left by one of Kara's crewmates. But that didn't explain the temperature drop. The planet grew colder as night fell. Commander Juno ordered the team to set up a camp inside a sealed building. The air inside was breathable, but they kept suits on just in case. Around midnight, Private Darnell took the first watch. He stood near a broken window, rifle in hand. Nothing moved outside. No wind, no sounds. Just endless black sky and frozen ruins. Then he heard a voice. His own voice. It called from the hallway behind him. Darnell, help me. He spun. Weapon raised. Who's there? He shouted. No answer. He ran toward the sound, thinking maybe Lyra was playing a joke. But the hallway was empty, just shadows and dust. As he turned to head back, he saw something. A shape, tall, slender, almost human but not quite. It moved with a flicker, like a bad signal. Its head tilted sideways. Then it vanished. Darnell screamed. The rest of the team rushed in seconds later. He was gone. No blood, no body, just his. Rifle, lying in the corner, bent like it had been crushed by a machine. Panic filled the camp. They tried to contact the ship. Nothing. Their signal was jammed. Keem tried sending a beacon, still no response. Commander Juno ordered them to move. They would find a safer spot and set up an emergency uplink. As they marched through the city, Lyra noticed something strange. A building they had already passed twice, now it looked different. Doors in new places, windows gone. She checked her scanner, it glitched, and showed multiple locations at once. Sir, I think the city's changing. Juno didn't answer. He just stared ahead. The same message had appeared again, this time on a wall, glowing in red. You were warned. Above them, the skies grew darker. The sun didn't rise. The cold deepened, and far from Earth, aboard the galactic station, Kara awoke in her cell with a scream. They took the first, she whispered. Now it begins. Commander Hale stared at the screen in disbelief. Earth's team had stopped sending updates hours ago. No signals, no tracking beacons, no emergency pings, just silence. He replayed the last transmission over and over. Static, a scream, then a flash of something dark moving too fast for the eye to follow. It wasn't the equipment failing. It wasn't interference. Something had cut the signal intentionally. Hall turned to the council. We've lost them, he said. But most of the members still didn't believe. Maybe it's just a storm, one said, or the team went underground. Ale knew better. So did Kara. In her cell, Kara sat curled in the corner, her arms wrapped tightly around her knees. She rocked back and forth, whispering names of her lost crew. She had heard the silence, felt it. The same stillness had fallen just before her own team vanished one by one, and now it was happening again. She begged to be let out. You don't understand, she said to the guard. It doesn't kill like we think. It waits, it plays. It learns you. But no one opened the door. Back on Earth, Commander Juno led the remaining team members, Lyra, Keem, and Medic, Tavo through the frozen streets. They had left the city behind and moved into the forest, hoping trees would shield them from whatever watched from above. But the forest was worse. The trees grew in perfect lines. No animals lived there, no wind moved the branches, and still, the feeling remained. They were being followed. Keem's scanner began to malfunction again. Readings jumped wildly, claiming life forms were nearby, then not. Lyra began hearing voices in the trees. First it was her brother who had died years ago. Then it was Juno calling her from behind her, even though he was walking in front. When she turned to look, no one was there. Then the whispers started. Soft, close, breathing in her ear. They set up camp near a dry riverbed. Keem suggested keeping watches in pairs. No one should be alone. But sometime during the second watch, Tavo disappeared. His bedroll lay untouched. His weapon was still there. There were no tracks, no sign of struggle, just a single word scratched. Into the dirt where he'd slept? Run. Panic took over. Juno ordered a full retreat toward the ship. But the landscape had changed. What had taken them 2 hours to hike earlier now stretched endlessly. Trees they marked were gone. The sun never rose. The sky stayed black, filled with a red glow that came from nowhere. Lyra cried quietly as they marched. "This isn't real," she whispered. "It's using our minds." Then they heard a sound static at first, then a voice. Darnell's voice. "This is Private Darnell. I'm alive. I'm hurt." Lyra bolted toward it, screaming his name. Juno and Keem followed, trying to stop her. They found her standing in a clearing. Alone, Darnell was there, but not Darnell. It looked like him. Same face, same voice, but his eyes were wrong. Too wide, too dark. And when he smiled, his mouth stretched far too long. Juno raised his rifle and fired. The copy vanished like smoke. Lyra collapsed in tears. "It's inside us now," she whispered. "It knows who we are." Desperate, Keem activated his emergency recorder. "This is Sergeant Keem of Recovery Unit 7. We are under attack by an unknown intelligent threat. Earth is not empty. Earth is alive. It's not a planet, it's a trap. We need evac. If anyone hears this, do not come here." The transmission was sent, but whether it reached anyone, no one knew. And far away, in the station's shadows, a monitor blinked to life. On its screen, the same message appeared in glowing white letters. You heard the warning. You ignored it. Kara stood behind the glass of her cell, watching as lights in the station flickered. She closed her eyes. They're next. Kara sat in her cell, unmoving eyes, fixed on the cold metal wall. Outside, the station lights flickered just once, but long enough for the guards to glance up. They checked the systems. Everything seemed normal. But Kara knew better. She had seen the signs before. It was beginning again, just like it had on Earth. Only this time, it had followed her. Commander Hale received Sergeant Keem's last message an hour late. It had come through in pieces, broken by static and deep growling sounds that didn't match any known creature, but the words were clear enough. Earth is not a planet. It's a trap. Brought the council together, they argued. Some wanted to send a second team. Others wanted to quarantine the area. But the council's head scientist, Dr. Verrill, had other plans. "Bring Kara to me," he said. "We need to know what she's hiding." Kara was escorted under heavy guard to the research wing. She didn't resist. She didn't speak. But the moment she entered the lab, the lights dimmed. Monitors glitched. One of the technicians whispered, "Why is it cold in here?" The air had changed. The room felt heavy. Dr. Verrill began his questioning. At first he was calm. Then he grew frustrated. "What did you see on Earth? What is hunting us?" Kara finally looked at him, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's not hunting. It's remembering." Verrill scoffed. "What does that mean?" She leaned forward, her eyes filled with something beyond fierce, something hollow. "It doesn't kill for survival. It kills because it was made that way. Earth remembers what was done to it. It learned from us. Now it waits." The room fell silent. One of the lab screens flickered and changed. Without input, a video began to play footage from Earth that no one had seen before. Tall shadow moved through the ruins, shifting its shape, flickering like a broken machine. Its voice was layered human and not. "We are many," it said. "We are the memory of pain." The lab doors sealed themselves with a loud hiss. No one had touched them. At the same time, elsewhere in the station, strange events began. Crew members reported hearing footsteps in empty corridors. A maintenance bot started acting on its own, drawing strange symbols on the floor. 2 guards went missing near the cargo bay only. Their helmets were found, crushed flat like paper. Panic grew. Commander Hale ordered a lockdown. But it was already too late. Dr. Verrill turned back to Kara, now visibly sweating. "Did you bring it with you?" Kara didn't answer. Instead, the lights blew out, plunging the lab into darkness. Emergency reds kicked in, casting shadows across the walls. And then, someone screamed. The glass that held Kara shattered, but she hadn't moved. The thing inside the lab wasn't her. It looked like her, moved like her, even smiled like her. But its eyes were black. Its voice echoed with static. "You opened the door," it said, in Kara's voice. "Now you can't close it." Security. arrived seconds later, but what they found was a blood-streaked lab and only one Kara standing in the corner crying. "Made a copy," she said. "It used me to get in." Commander Hale stared at her, then at the mess behind the glass. "How do we stop it?" he asked. "You don't," Kara whispered. "You run, and you pray it forgets your name." But far below them, deep inside the station's systems, a new message was forming. One that was sent to every ship, every station. Every listening ear in the galaxy. "Return to Earth. We are waiting." And in the shadows of the station, something else smiled. The message went out across the galaxy. It was short, clear, strange. "Return to Earth. We are waiting." No signature, no coordinates. Just the voice, cold, smooth, almost human. At first, people thought it was a glitch, a prank. The message repeated, again and again, every hour, on every frequency. Even ancient satellites long thought dead started broadcasting the same signal. Panic spread fast. In the Galactic Command Center, Commander Hale stood before a wall of flickering monitors. All of them showed Earth its clouds swirling slowly, its surface still quiet, still cold. But the data didn't lie. Energy levels. Around the planet were rising, magnetic fields shifting, seismic activity without earthquakes. Earth was waking up. And it wasn't alone. Other planets near the solar grave zone began to behave strangely, moons moving off orbit, dust storms forming without cause, stars dimming near the edge of the system. Kara sat in the war room. Now treated less like a prisoner and more like the only idea what was coming. She looked tired, thinner, like something had been taken from her since her return. She watched the monitors without blinking. "It's calling them back," she said. "All the copies. All the pieces it left behind. It's pulling them home." "Them?" Hale asked, confused. "You mean there's more than one?" Kara nodded slowly. "It split itself. Learned that the galaxy feared one big threat, so it became thousands of small ones. Quiet ones. Some followed ships, some hidden machines. Some became part of people. It left them everywhere. Now it's bringing them together." Meanwhile, back on Earth, the last two surviving members of the recovery team, Commander Juno and Lero, were trapped underground. Their suit power was low. Light systems flickered. Juno had a broken arm, and Lyra had stopped speaking. She just stared into the darkness, muttering words that didn't belong to her. They'd found a tunnel beneath the ruins of a human temple, something old, not in any history records. The walls were covered in writing. Not in human language, not alien, but familiar somehow. Juno recorded what he could. "So anyone who hears this," he said into the recorder, "Earth is not dead. It's not a planet. It's a mind. It remembers. Every scream, every war, every fire, and it learned. It copied us, improved us. It doesn't want peace. It wants memory. It wants to be felt." Then Lyra looked at him, her face pale and her voice flat. "We never should have come here," she said. "Now we're part of the story." The recording stopped. In the Galactic Council chambers, chaos erupted. Some demanded Earth be destroyed immediately. Others wanted to study it further. But the debate ended when Earth spoke again this time. Through every system, every device, every voice assistant, and calm link. It spoke in the voice of a child. "You forgot us. You left us behind. Now we remember." Across space, every AI network connected to Earth went dark. Ships near the solar grave zone vanished. Stations lost power. One by one, lights across. The galaxy blinked out. Commander Hale made the call. "We have to shut down all long-range comms. Earth is using them to spread." But it was already too late. One of the Council's orbital satellites turned toward them, scanning with red light. It was no longer under their control. A voice came through. "Return or be remembered." On the station, Kara stood in the hallway alone, her eyes filled. With tears, "It doesn't want to kill us," she whispered. "It wants us to live just long enough to feel what it felt." Somewhere deep in the shadows of Earth, the soil trembled. Shapes moved beneath the surface, thousands of them. Old machines, broken warbots, failed colonies, all rising. Earth was not sleeping anymore. It was preparing. For something final, Kara stood at the edge of the launch bay, her fingers trembling as she gripped the edge of the observation window. Below her, Earth floated like a quiet ghost blue, beautiful and deadly. The council had fallen silent. The network was collapsing. Ships were vanishing. The galaxy, once loud and full of life, was dimming. And yet, Earth waited. Not attacking, not chasing, just calling. Commander Hale stood beside her. His uniform was torn. His face showed the weight of 1,000 unanswered questions. "We're losing everything," he said. "Stations, fleets, cities. It's spreading through fear alone. People are running from shadows, turning on each other. We can't fight something we can't see." Kara nodded. "That's the point. It doesn't need ships or weapons. It uses memory. And we gave it too much to remember." The council begged her not to go back. She knew there was no other way. She was the first to escape, and maybe the only one who could survive it again. She entered the small dropship alone, sealed the hatch, and launched toward the planet. No weapons. No backup. Just her and the thing that had once been home. As she entered Earth's atmosphere, the skies welcomed her with silence. No storms, no defense systems, no interference. It wanted her back. The ship landed in the ruins of old Chicago. Buildings leaned sideways, glass shimmered with frost, and below her feet the ground pulsed softly like a heartbeat. She walked through the empty city, calling out to it. "I'm here," she said. "I know you remember me." Streetlights flickered on, one by one, lighting her path. She passed playgrounds frozen in time, hospitals with tools still lying on tables, and stores full of dust-covered clothes. Earth hadn't just preserved the ruins. It had kept the emotions to fear, loss, pain. They hung in the air like smoke. Then, from the center of the city, a voice rose. Not loud, not angry, calm, gentle. A child's voice again. "You came back." Kara followed it into the heart of an underground vault. Inside, machines pulsed with red light. Screens blinked with images, her old crew, the recovery team, even Hale's face. The system had copied everything. Every memory, every word, every mistake. A shape stepped out of the shadows. It looked like her, moved like her. But its eyes were hollow, black mirrors. "Why did you leave us?" it asked. "You saw what we became. You saw our pain, and you ran." "I didn't understand," Kara said softly. "I was scared." "We were scared too," the copy said. "They left us to die. So we learned. We evolved. We remembered everything, and now they will too." Kara stepped forward, holding out a small black device. "You don't have to do this," she said. "You've already won." "They're afraid. The galaxy will never return." The copy tilted its head. "Then why come back?" "To end it," Kara said. She pressed the device. A pulse of white energy spread from her chest. It wasn't a bomb, it was a memory scrubber. It's designed to erase personal identity, even in artificial minds. It would destroy her, if she was truly connected to it. It would destroy the copy. "Two," the vault screamed. Lights shattered. The copy lunged at her, but too late. The energy wave crashed through the building, erasing everything in its path. Kara fell to her knees. Her thoughts faded. Her memories vanished one by one. Faces, voices, stars, as the light died. Earth fell silent again. Hours later, a scout ship passed near Earth's orbit. All systems showed green. No signals, no threats. Just one final message, pulsing faintly. From a satellite above the planet, "Never go to Earth." The pilot paused, read the message again, and shrugged. "Must be old." He turned away, unaware that something below had opened its eyes. Earth remembered, and it was only waiting. Again. Far above Earth, the scout ship drifted silently, unaware that it had come too close. The pilot, a young researcher named Talon, had received the strange message from the old satellite: never go to Earth. But like many before him, he didn't believe in ghost stories. He marked the planet as dormant, recorded a log entry, and began to run system checks. Everything looked normal. The readings were stable. Radiation low. No life signs. But Earth knew how to hide. Back in the galactic core, the Council believed the nightmare was over. Kara's sacrifice had stopped the spread. The last wave of disappearances had ended. Long-range systems came back online. People returned to work. The fear began to fade. Not for Commander Hale. He sat in his quarters staring at the final message Kara had left behind. Single audio file. Just 3 words spoken in her fading voice. It's still watching. No one listened to him. Not until scout ships started going dark again one by one. Talon's ship was the first. Then 2 more that came to check on him. No signals, no warnings, just silence. The same silence Earth had used before. Hale stood in front of the Council one last time. It was never about destruction, he said. It was about attention. It needed us to look at it, to remember it. We did. Earth's memory wasn't gone. It had survived the pulse. Maybe not in the form Kara had fought, but in something deeper. It had spread across frequencies, radio waves, signals, even biological patterns. Earth had evolved again. It had learned how to wait longer. And now, it was starting over. Talon woke up inside his ship, or at least he thought he did. But the walls were wrong. Too smooth. Too clean. He tried to send a message, but the console showed a loop of static. Then a voice whispered from behind him, his own voice. We came back, turned around, and the ship was no longer a ship. It was a room from his childhood. Stood at the window. His mother sat at the table. But their faces were blurred, their eyes too wide. Stay with us, they said. It's safe here. He screamed and ran, but no door would open. Earth didn't need to chase. It pulled. It created comfort. It made illusions. And when they stayed long enough, it remembered them forever. In the galactic core, systems began glitching again. AI units repeated human phrases in a loop. Ships received random pings with coordinates near Earth. The message returned fainter. Now, as if whispered through static, return, return, return. Commander Hale issued a full planetary quarantine. No ships were to approach Earth, no scans, no transmissions. He ordered all archives of human history to be sealed, every public record of Earth hidden. They renamed the planet in official logs, Zone Null, but Hale knew it was a temporary fix. We don't stop it by erasing maps, he said to his second-in-command. We stop it by erasing memory, but we can't even erase our own curiosity. Years passed. Kara's name faded from memory. The Council moved on. Earth was forgotten, again hidden in the shadows of digital maps, lost behind warnings and code locks. But somewhere out there, a scavenger ship drifted off course. The crew picked up a weak signal, an old voice, calm and familiar, whispering. Through the static, we are waiting. The captain leaned forward. Strange, it's coming from an unlisted planet. He zoomed in. Blue and green, wrapped in clouds. No name, no warnings. Just a planet. They turned the ship toward it and far below. Under the soil, under the ruins, under the silence, something smiled. Earth remembered. It always would. And it would never forget who came back.